What's good everyone, it's Zigzag here. Welcome back to another Geoguessr video. Great to have you back on the channel today. Now, over the last 2 years, the pro Geoguessr scene has expanded a whole lot with the introduction of the World Cups, and it's brought a lot of people to the game who don't know how to improve and would like to do so. Indeed, a lot of them will be in my Discord server, in my Instagram DMs, asking me how to improve. So that is where this video comes in. I'm going to be explaining how I would go about improving as a new player at Geoguessr in the year of 2025. Alright, the very first thing you need to know is that Geoguessr is based on Google Street View. That means that if a country does not have Google Street View, as about 90 countries in the world do not, then you'll never see it on an official game of Geoguessr. So you can go into Google Maps like this and go to the bottom right, click once on the orange band like this, and it will show you where Street View exists. Now, some of these blue lines are not actually official Street View. For example, Iran does not have Street View. This is just user-generated content, but for the most part, this will give you a good overview of where you should be likely to click. So notable exceptions of countries you almost never click: Belarus, China, which a lot of new players like to guess but doesn't exist in the game, Egypt, Venezuela, Paraguay. There are many countries like this which you should rarely, if ever, guess, although some of them do have a tiny bit of coverage. After you're familiar with the previous map, I would 100% recommend learning the different driving directions around the world. This map is literally all you need. In Europe, it's just Malta, United Kingdom, and Ireland. That's pretty easy. Africa's also pretty straightforward. You start off with left-hand drive in Kenya and Uganda, and they make a line all the way down to the southern African countries. Then you've got the Indian subcontinent, all the countries that Britain had an influence over here. You got Japan randomly out there for some reason, Hong Kong and Macau. And finally, the most important to remember is that in Southeast Asia, everything that touches Thailand in the north drives right, but Thailand and everything south of it in Southeast Asia is going to be left. With the exception of Philippines, I guess, but you just got to remember that Philippines also drives right. Okay, so try and keep that in mind and check it out every time you have an urban environment because it's going to be super useful. All right, on to my next tip. And if you are serious about improving at Geoguessr, then this site is an absolute must. The name of this site, which will be linked in the description, is Plonket, spelt like so.net. And this site has a really handy beginner's guide, which you can use to learn about all the different game mechanics. I find it to be a really good write-up, but more important than that, in the top right-hand list here, they have the guide section. Now click on this and you'll be greeted with a map of all the different countries that have even a little bit of Street View. Now, while you're here, you can click on any of these and it will give you a comprehensive guide to that country. So for example, here on the France one, we've got tips for identifying that you're actually in France at the top. These are the bare bones hints, but they're going to be really helpful. And as you scroll down, then you get regional hints as well. So the top section here is going to be useful to you as a new player. And then once you're a bit better, looking at these regional and department specific clues is going to be super clutch for becoming a pro player. So all in all, if you're going to use any one website to improve, Plonket.net is the best. It's created by pros, curated by pros, definitely the way to go. Now there's one more website I wanted to mention in this video, which I find super helpful. It is called learnablemeta.com. It's actually developed by a Twitch streamer who streams Rust called Trowsy. Maybe you've heard of him. He's actually pretty big in the Rust sphere, but he's created this script, which is super useful for learning. Zerka has been progressing super quickly using it. So here's what you're going to do. Click learn more on the main site, install the browser extension called TamperMonkey. Basically, you're just going to Google that and install it for Chrome or Firefox. Once you have TamperMonkey installed, you may have to enable developer mode. This is laid out in this link here. Skip the step for now, but if you have problems that may be causing it, and you can go back to this link. But now what you're going to do is go to the install user script, click on the link. If you have TamperMonkey, it'll automatically open it. Click the install button and then come back here and click on the Our Maps button. And now the fun begins. We're going to select which map we want to play. For you, if you're really just starting out, I'd try A Learnable Meta World Basics, but anything starting with A Learnable Meta should work with this script. So we're going to come in here. We'll see that Learnable Meta is enabled if it's working. And now starts the magic. So we're going to look around here. This is the location. There are a good number of clues that would lead me towards the correct location here, but you know what, as a new player, I think it looks like Minnesota. I don't think this is Canada at all, despite this cheeky maple leaf here. So I'm going to click here and it's going to tell me why I was wrong. So this diamond, which you get at intersections with the checkered design on the outside, is unique to Canada, which is a very, very useful tip. It shows up a lot because, as you can imagine, when you end a road, you need one of these signs, and so they exist quite a lot. Okay, next one here, I'm interested to see what the tip is going to be here. We have these concrete poles, which are typical of Brazil. Looks to me like it might be somewhere near Maranhão, so I'll give that a guess. And it's actually over here in Pará. But this is actually just about the Brazil pole, which we can see here. This is a very useful pole for determining that you are in Brazil. As you can see, it's just catering to the lower level players. And as you get better, there are maps with even more locations. The intermediate one, probably a great one if you're trying to get to champion rank, for example. And my final tip for you is that you should become immersed in Geoguessr. Watch as many videos as you can and pick the creators who you really like. Now, I don't want to tread on anyone anyone's toes here and forget to mention anyone in particular. But of course, you got my second channel, Geoguessr Explained, where I do a lot of educational content. If you're more into moving games and the kind of pinpointing aspect of the game, then I would highly recommend Jake Lyon's channel. And there are many others who explain their guesses as they play. I'm thinking of MK, Finbar, Lenly, etc. All right, guys, that should get you going if you're learning Geoguessr in 2025. Would love to hear your recommendations for training in the comments below. Let's have a conversation about it. And guys, thank you so much for watching the video all the way to the end. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in a video very soon. Till next time, and goodbye.